Morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you all, thank you all, thank you all. We're coming to you live from downtown Homestead. We're TalkVisual305. I am Demetrius Knowles. This is my right hand, Julio Guzman. And we have the esteemed honor of a guest today that we've been trying to catch, and we got him.
Yes.
So guess what, guys? I will let my right hand bring him in. Mr. Julio, who do you got?
Yes, sir. Good morning. We do have a special guest in the building with us today. This gentleman is an award-winning urban planner. He is a redevelopment specialist. This guy is a ton of talent that we've got right here in our own backyard. Please help me give a warm welcome to the CRA Director of City of Homestead, Mr. Jared Beck.
Well.
If I could get this welcome every time I come to work. So thank you both for including me and for the very, very warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. Well, first and foremost, we wanted to say thank you. Thank you for coming on our podcast today. You could have been anywhere today and you chose to come online with us today. So we wanted to give you your digital flowers to say thank you for the things you have done. Thank you for the things you're currently doing, and thank you for the things you will do in the future as well for our beautiful downtown. So welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that.
Good. So welcome. So, Julio, I'll let you have a crack at it.
The great thing about understanding that you are now with the City of Homestead, we've read your CV card, we've read what you've done in the past. I wanted you to tell our audience what inspired you to come to the City of Homestead, and what are some of the things that you are working on, and how has your past experience given you some light on what we want to do here in Homestead?
So I think there's a lot that we could add to, and all of the things that built up for me wanting to come here. But I think one of the things that was so appealing to me about Homestead is that it has a true authenticity in our downtown, right? We see development and redevelopment occurring around the country where we are trying to refabricate history that doesn't exist, but we have it here, right? When I took my first drive down Chrome Avenue, you can tell that this was it is a true, authentic, historic downtown. We have a mass and a scale that you can't replicate. And these are the places that many people are desiring. Those are also the places that help foster and support and grow local business. They grow that sense of community. They develop that sense of pride. And downtowns like this are rare, and they become the living room of a community. And those are things that are tremendous assets for us socially. They're assets for us culturally. They're also major economic drivers as we go through revitalization. And with so few of these in comparison to all the development we've had in our state, these are ones you want to be a part of, and you want to help celebrate and help them succeed.
So where'd you go to college?
I went to school in Texas.
Right. You grew up in Lake Michigan.
I grew up in Michigan. My parents had both gone away to college, and my mother said, when you go away, you have 2 years that you can stay to a local school, but after that, you have to go a minimum of a day's drive away. And my dad said, you pick the school you want to go, and I'll support you with it. And so, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and your parents say you should go away, and we'll pay for it, I was like, let's do it. So, but I always knew I was going to end up in the Southeast, and so I wanted to live in a place where it's a very different environment, in the geography, different environment in the development. I always knew I had this interest in buildings and the urban form and how do they come together, and so that was a place that I wanted to experience, and I did.
So early in your college career, you knew you wanted to study architecture, kind of urban planning, because I think you shifted somewhere throughout that collegiate career, and you said, okay, I think I like urban planning.
Yeah, so, our parents, I have a younger brother, our parents were very big in reading, and so we had to read as kids, and the deal, though, was that they'd buy us anything we wanted to read as long as we read. And I loved buildings, and so my parents would buy us books on architecture and design and magazines, and I was just fascinated. I thought I wanted to be an architect. As I started school, my aunt really pushed me. She was in dentistry. She was like, you want to be a dentist? And I think I made it through one term, and I was like, this is not for me. But working with a guidance counselor, I had initially contemplated architecture and then realized in these different discussions, what is it about the buildings you appreciate, you enjoy? It wasn't how they were built. It wasn't really the inside. It was more how these buildings come together and that sense of place and space and environment that they create. And that's really what got me turned into more urban planning, urban design, and how do we work in that type of environment. I also grew up in a historic community and a historic downtown. And so that that aspect of historic preservation has always been with me, and I had known through or realized over my years always being drawn to, just like what we have, these historic downtowns,
Right.
historic neighborhoods. There's just a value in a character and so many other things that we don't get today.
Right.
Do you happen to get inspiration from traveling outside of the country? Because you can see a lot of great things within our country, and you're always looking at it with a different set of eyes. But sometimes you travel outside of the country, and new ideas come in.
Yeah, I think what we see in particular as it relates to, this sort of long timeline of urban planning and redevelopment is how we have evolved in design, evolved in development for technology. So when we look at so many of our great cities outside of this country, even our great cities, that early on in this country, we were designing for cars. We weren't designing for trucks and the freight. We were designing for people, and that is something that's very different. But yes, I do get inspired by seeing those other places.
So you could have lived anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You can live anywhere in the country, for that matter, right? And you're in Homestead.
I am.
and not just live, but you live, work local, or potentially here. You could have gone anywhere. What would make you choose here at Homestead?
Well, I think being this far in my career, and I'm at a place that I can say there's more in the rearview mirror than there is ahead of me, right? So it's less about building a career for me or a recognition. When you're in your 20s and your 30s, you're growing. You're growing for the role, you're growing for the income, you're growing for all of these different things.
Right.
I think the older I've gotten in my field and the more I have become rooted in that what I do is about community, it's more about having the impact, right? What type of positive effect can we change in a community, which is advancing that vision for which that community is established. Homestead established its downtown master plan in 2024. There is a vision for this community. It has, as I've said, those characteristics that I very much appreciate and value in a community. There's a need, there's an opportunity. So I think what brought me here is there's an opportunity to help affect that change, to help advance this downtown to what it can be.
Right.
And what this community has said that it wants to be, and our city council and our CRA board wants it to be. So what drives me here, what keeps me here right now is that ability to be a part of realizing that vision that Homestead has established.
Right.
That value that the community can take from it is the draw, right? Does that make sense?
Totally. Some of the things that we see, first and foremost, we want to say thank you for what I see downtown that you guys are doing from the CRA team. You guys have been pretty much everywhere doing a lot of great things, and I'm sure there's more to come. So in the next 3 to 5 years, what do you see? What is your vision for?
There's what I see, what I hope, what I want.
Right. Let's put,
I think, I feel,
your think tank.
I feel very optimistic about where we're at right now. Just looking over the last couple of months, you all are downtown every day. You walk these streets, you know it. We have a new restaurant that just recently opened with Sac Passe.
Yeah.
We've got Throwback that's getting ready to open. We've got a new cafe that is starting construction. They will be opening a new restaurant at El Toro Taco that they've signed their lease. They've started. We've got another new kind of restaurant type venue coming in. Homestead Station has some potential tenants still working with. I really feel like we're getting that good momentum of bringing in those uses in downtown and on, we can call it Chrome Avenue, Main Street, whatever, our main artery, that help to create that foot traffic, that help us with visitor attraction and spending, that will only help businesses be more successful. We've finished a couple or underway and close to finishing a couple of the smaller projects that we're doing to help facilitate this activity. The new parking lot, we've got our Paseo Park almost done. We'll be taken to the board in July, the CRA board, the proposed terms for the development partner of Chrome Marketplace. We're going to start next month, actually at the end of this month, as a groundbreaking for the new utility and streetscape replacement project. So I feel like in that next 3 to 5 years, very optimistically, we will have many more restaurants, bars, retail uses within our downtown. Downtown's going to have a fresh look. Chrome Avenue is going to change. It will have that new appearance. We've got some good investment happening in our buildings. So I feel like in that 3 to 5 years, we're going to see that change. And I think at that time as well, We will be looking beyond the core area. There's property that the CRA owns, property that the city owns. I think we'll be looking towards some larger redevelopment projects.
Right.
And we're going to continue working with the property owners and other investors or developers in how we can help affect some of that compatible change that helps to advance the redevelopment plan, the master plan that the city has established.
So Chrome will be chromed.
Chrome will be
out.
Chrome. I think, from well, let me say this too. It'll be
Right.
south of Northwest 4th Street.
Okay.
Right? And in the core area in particular, it'll be building frontage to building frontage. It is a utility project, it's a stormwater project, it's a mobility project, it's a streetscape project, but that will have a new look to take it for the next decades.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's
Excited
great
about
news.
that.
That is great news. You know, there are many times that I'm talking to business owners and residents, and many of them do not truly understand what a CRA is, Community Redevelopment District Agency, Community Redevelopment Agency.
That's right.
Can you help explain to the audience what that is, how it gets funded,
Right.
and does it matter? Is it always based on population, or what is it based on when you get funding?
So when a community desires to create a CRA, it is an area that has to have various criteria that it complies with in terms of Florida statute. So it is an area that in general has lacked investment or has had some decline in property value, in tenant occupancy and property ownership, and many of the other conditions that could be defined as some type of blight, right? So when you meet this criteria, and downtowns are where most CRAs started from. Either downtowns or commercial corridors, and that's really a result of the suburbanization and the shopping malls of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. When you have an area that meets this certain criteria, you can go through the process. It's both being in a city, it's a city and county process that follows statute, and you create this defined boundary that we say, this is an area that needs investment. The economic conditions in the area are such that the private market is not going to make that investment.
Right.
We, as that other entity, have to therefore be involved and use financial resources to effect that change that we want to see. That area then gets established, and being in a city, then we are one part accountable to the city council of Homestead, and one part to Miami-Dade County.
Okay.
And the way that this is established when they're created, and this is us having the partnership, if it's a county, you would only be working within the county, but the tax base or the taxable value of the property in that first year will always continue, that amount will always continue to go to the respective city and the county. The increase in property value will then go to the CRA.
Okay.
Florida statute sets parameters on what CRAs can and cannot spend money on.
Okay.
One of the requirements of Florida statute is that you have to have adopted redevelopment plan. So then the next tier is we can only spend funds, this revenue that's generated, on projects, programs, initiatives that are in our adopted redevelopment plan. And then as both a city and county relationship, we also have an interlocal agreement with Miami-Dade County that further dials down on what we can and cannot spend funds on. So we work within these parameters and the funding that we generate. And the idea is that over time, that revenue builds up. We take that revenue, reinvest it into those projects that will help advance the redevelopment plan. The revenue continues and it evolves, and over time we're able to affect some of that more substantial change within the redevelopment area, and then eventually we go away, we sunset.
So with that very eloquent answer,
Yeah.
it gets funded through property taxes.
Property taxes, yes.
Okay.
An increase in property taxes within this area from the year that it was established.
Got it.
What's important to note is it's not an additional tax. It is just a
It's a portion.
redirection of
The
what
increase.
is already collected
Right.
goes to the CRA.
So for those of you out there who didn't know what CRA, those acronyms stands for, now you know. And it's important for us to kind of know what's going on locally in your community. Julio.
And a CRA, for those of you that want to know if you fall within a CRA, you can easily go to Homestead's website, which is homesteadfl.gov, and you can just search CRA and you can see the defined map of what the boundaries are of the CRA. And if you do fall within the CRA, there are programs out there that may potentially help with what you want to do.
Right.
In some of the programs, Mr. Beck, you can tell us what they are, because I know they are commercial enhancement programs.
That's right.
There are some grant programs, and it's not only commercial, right? There are residential programs too.
Correct. So in addition to our commercial enhancement program, our business relocation expansion program, one that I would love to see more use of is our down payment assistance program for home buyers.
We can help with that.
Whoop,
This is a
whoop.
real estate agency. We can help with that.
No,
See, that's a crumb right there.
I mean, like many redevelopment areas, our residential neighborhood is economically challenged, right? It's
Right.
one that we need to focus some further efforts on. Home ownership is the most effective tool to wealth building in our country.
100%.
Right? And so we do have a home ownership down payment assistance program, and that's one we certainly want to continue to promote, and we'd love to see more folks take advantage of that.
Right.
We do have programs also that can assist with some of the residential needs within the community. And we are while we talk a lot about downtown, I think we're equally looking at the programs or the projects that we can be doing within the residential neighborhood
Yeah. Right.
that help address some of the functional aspects as well as the investment, improvement,
Right.
and other programs.
So one of the things that Julio and I was in search of is to try to find out why some of the businesses are going on the other side of town. And we're still in search of, and we're trying to knock on those doors to say, listen, guys, we're downtown. We've planted the seeds down here where I'm 6 years, going on 7 years in downtown. And he is, I would assume, almost the same. Yeah. And we're trying to figure out, listen, how do we get some more of those traffic so when they do their comp of the area, they can say, okay, 15-year-old comp doesn't define what the new downtown will be and look like now. So is there anything that you can say to the potential investor that, hey, why should I do business downtown? Would you be able to say, come down here because?
Yeah, I think a couple different things on it. Entrepreneurs, they have a lot of courage, right? That is a risk that they're taking.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think one of the things that we can share with folks, a couple things that we could share with folks. Number one, you're not alone. To
Right.
the extent that we can as a CRA, if you are that business that's contemplating, do we go here or here?
Right.
We have some support to assist with you in that. I think there's also the opportunity to look at, we see downtown is changing.
Right.
Right? This is an opportunity to be a part of that change.
That's right.
I think you also have and I've said this often to developers and other investors or businesses as they're contemplating, where do you want to go? Yes, we recognize we may not have the foot traffic, we may not have the exact same spending power yet. Right? We're on our way, but more so, there is such a commitment politically for downtown that we have a redevelopment agency.
Right.
We have a redevelopment plan. Our city has established its downtown master plan, right? There is a real commitment behind advancing this. So that support, that effort, that follow through is going to continue. I do think that we acknowledge it for what it is. We don't necessarily have as much foot traffic yet as we want, but I think we are building there. And every new business that opens, every new restaurant that opens proves that market a little bit more. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we've got a few new businesses that have opened recently. We've got more that are coming.
Right.
We've seen some of the inquiries that we're getting from others that are showing. We're building this. So I think there's a part of it of come be a part of the evolution, the success, and let's do this together.
I've been watching some of the council meetings recently, and some of the barriers that the CRA has is they can get great inquiries of people wanting to take somewhat of a risk, but understanding that there's a risk involved. They want some skin in the game from the city. But CRA then has to present to the city council, and they've got to get a consensus from the city council in order to approve whatever amounts of monies they would like the city to inject to help offset that risk. And sometimes, you've got to present that in a way that's compelling to them for them to say, yes, let's go for it. So it's a challenging job sometimes when you have to work through those barriers. But you do see that there is more of a commitment from the city side in wanting to revitalize way more than in the past, I believe, from what I've been seeing. The projects that you guys have been talking about recently, I know that we want to do something right here with Marketplace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
I think we're getting closer. We keep inching away, and I can't wait for that to be open.
Yeah.
Are you able to speak a little on the vision that we've got for Marketplace?
I can tell you what has been shared with our board. I think you all know a proposal. We've been working for a couple of years, right? My predecessor acquired the property. We've been working to try to get a development partner that will really take on that collective 20,000 square feet between the 3 different buildings that we have. A proposal was submitted to the CRA, went to the board. The board was interested enough to say, let's take this to the next level. So they took it to the next level, and we presented that to them about a month ago. That really went into much more detail. And there is a consensus to let's go one more level.
Yeah.
And so we have worked with the development team, with our attorneys over the last month to come up with some terms that may make sense to our board as well as make sense to the development partner, right? And that we're anticipating taking forward to our board in July.
Okay.
And I'm going to be optimistic.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, and this comes back to your question in terms of, giving folks the comfort to come and invest.
Right.
When we start meeting with folks that have a business idea or they have a business already in place, it's not just about the business, right? Can they open the door? It is what level of business planning have they done? Do they have their financial wherewithal? Have they thought about a marketing plan? It is much more than opening the door. It is about, can they be successful? Can we help them with the tools so that they can be successful, so that those folks that do open a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, they're here.
Right.
And so as we look at some of these projects in the Chrome Market folks' place, and I think this is a part of why the board has been willing to advance it along the way, this is someone that's coming with financial wherewithal, and they have a business plan, and they've gone through the details, and it is much more of a partnership, which that's what downtown is, right?
That's
These efforts are a partnership. So we're excited that will go to the board again in July.
Yeah.
If they say yes, then we're going to say, finally, this thing is going to move.
Build it and they shall come. That's it.
We'll see. Ultimately, the decision rests with the board. Ultimately, that rests with the board, but I think we're moving in a good direction.
Loving it. What else you got?
Jared,
Julio?
when you're looking at where the CRA is located in downtown Homestead from an aerial view, in your experience, do great downtowns, are they typically located close to a turnpike exit, or are they close to some big thoroughfare?
Well,
and how does our location help or hurt the revitalization process?
Historic downtowns, right? That was pre-car.
Right.
So that we didn't turnpikes kind of came after the fact. I think, though, you bring up a really good point, and it's fair to recognize this in terms of some of the challenges that Homestead has had with its revitalization. When we look at the rest of Miami-Dade County, we look at South Florida, most of our downtowns are surrounded by development, right? It's either historic development or it's the growth that has happened over the last number of decades. We, in ways, don't have that benefit. We're at the bottom of the line, right? So you have to intentionally want to have to come into downtown. And as the very nature of downtowns have evolved over time, we no longer have to come right to a downtown. It has to be the want. So we've got to create the want in our downtown for those folks to come here. What is, though, I think helpful for us, and you were speaking to or perhaps alluding to, is from a location perspective, we're a mile off the turnpike.
Right.
There are millions of passerbys that go on the turnpike every year back and forth through the Keys, and we are, and I actually looked this up to confirm it, we are the only city in the United States that abuts 2 national parks. Right. But more importantly, those 2 national parks bring roughly 2 million visitors every year within this proximity that we have. So there is a big draw that we have an opportunity to draw in that drive-by traffic as well as the tourists that are coming to the area, in addition to all of the other attractions that we've got.
Because, Chrome is very busy, I mean, the street itself, and it ends right there. So, and then you get it switches from the turnpike ending right there in Florida City. I think from here to the turnpike, it's, a few minutes?
Yeah.
It's barely a few minutes. So it's really simple to just jump on the turnpike. So being located here, it's an easier thing, is an easy get on because the turnpike is right there, and then you have Chrome to 27. So there's many ins and outs. So there is no blockage here. So
whenever I travel to another city and it's got a historic downtown, I like to see, first I want to have good food, and I want it to be walkable,
Yep.
right? And second, I'd like to enjoy a few good museums. You know, like for example, in West Palm, I think they've got the Henry Flagler Museum.
Right.
And you spend a few hours in there and you come out saying, wow, I've just got all this information that I didn't know. And it was very entertaining to walk through that place with the family. Yeah. So I think for our downtown, food, walkability, some museums, and some things to look at while you're walking through,
Right.
I think can definitely help.
Right.
But we still have to bring the people here.
It's work to be done.
Well, you know, here's the other part of that too. Besides bringing the people here, those of us that are here and,
Right.
and want to be successful, we have to support them,
Right.
right? We have to bring our folks here.
Right.
But you do bring up that good point too on history and art.
Right.
Yeah. Those are two big things that I think we have the history, and
Definitely.
our city very much seems to be
Right.
embracing public art as we move forward, and then those future evolutions into museums or galleries or things like that.
Right. So, to lighten the mood, what is fun for you?
Oh no, this is fun. Like I want our downtown to be successful.
That's it. Well,
I thought we were having that.
okay. What is
No,
fun for you? When you
I
get to
mean,
let your hair down and so relax, and what is fun for you? Do you like to travel? I mean, the family, or what?
I do, and I'm a total urban planning nerd, right?
Okay.
You know, the funny thing is, someone was asking me recently, and I forget where I was. You know, what are you going to do in your day? And
Right.
when I go to a great city, and I love old cities, I'm going to be in Chicago next week. I'm going to walk around. I'm
That's
going
right.
to absorb that environment,
That's
right? You had mentioned that what occupies your time. It's that interest of, oh, that looks like a really great restaurant. I
Right.
want to go there. I want
Right.
to stop in and do this. I'm going to check out that gallery. So.
Right.
I think I spend a lot of time doing that exploring, even in our own communities, right? I went to, last weekend I went down to Coconut Grove,
Right.
up to Coconut Grove, right?
Right.
A great place just to
Yeah.
walk around. It's appreciating where we live and what we have.
100%.
So I do a lot of that. I do,
Right.
exercise,
Well-
beach, and all the other things that people do, but.
They've got rooftops in Coconut Grove.
Yeah, we're working on it. So at the end of the day, fun for you, obviously, just to get out, walk around, have some fun locally, and being able to give back, right? So the things you're doing an amazing job. Your team is doing an amazing job. Again, we bring persons on so that we can leave crumbs for the next generation. For that young person out there that's thinking of doing something of this sort, they can say, you know what? I remember when I saw them on that podcast. The crumb was left. They didn't just get rich and leave town like some do, but some do decide to stay. And we truly appreciate what we see downtown is shaping into. And I hope that all the things that you guys throw out there as far as seeds, I hope they plant it well and grow, because we are downtown, we are listening, we're watching, we're paying attention, and we're trying to help shape it in the best direction possible to make us all successful with fun.
Well, we appreciate and value and continue to need your support in those partners, right? This really is a community effort, and I do have to acknowledge the great team that works at the CRA and over at the city and our elected officials for supporting the work that we're doing and really embracing some of these things that we've been
Right.
taking forward. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So Jared, when you came to Homestead and you saw the landscape, was there a project that you said, I immediately want to start to tackle this? And it could potentially be, we need residential in downtown.
It sounds like a realtor.
If we're going to have
Now he's
any
talking his business,
development, if we're going to have any development, because that's a bad word, right? It's a bad word to some people, and it has been for a long time. But if you want people walking up and down the street, they've got to be very close by in order for these businesses to want to invest here. So I would really encourage the city to get behind some sort of residential in downtown, because I see it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Really cool downtowns. And then you can keep the historic look, like when Miami Beach was starting to revitalize. And I think Miami Beach even had, with all the money that's in Miami Beach,
Right.
they even had a CRA.
Right.
And then it would keep it historic, but then you would see this really nice building like right behind
That's
it. And it meshed so well. I think we are on the brink of that.
Right.
Where you've got the historic, but then you'll have something nice, really well.
See that vision?
People can walk downstairs, they can go to the cafe.
I know.
That's it. The vision
I
is
know
clear.
y'all have heard me at workshops, so you know where I'm at on this. Well, fun fact, actually, CRA started with Miami Beach. And I think one of the things, though, and I'm just going to take on to that really quickly because you hit on something that's so critical. It is that as we look at future development, in whatever that form that is in our downtown, that it does have to be very thoughtful,
Right.
well designed, compatible, that it complements what we already see as the assets,
Right.
in that history and going forward. But we can certainly talk much more on that direction. as you know.
The other question I had is nowadays with AI, you can snap a picture of your house, your office, and it'll redesign the whole thing for you.
Right.
Are there applications in AI like that for redesigning large areas?
Good question.
There are tools out there. So if you decide you're going to be a developer and you go buy a piece of property, there's tools out there now that you can put in that parcel boundary and say, what can you do?
That's right.
And how does this fit with the code? So absolutely. I haven't really looked at any specific to the streetscape, right?
Right.
That's a little more defined. You typically have your 60-foot right-of-way. You know you're going to have 2 travel lanes. You know you're going to have sidewalks. There's
Right.
less in there. But in terms of the site plan and development, there are, and no doubt, as it relates to design standards and aesthetics and codes and what you can and cannot do,
Right.
technology is very much and very quickly changing that.
I always thought that the other downtowns that are thriving and these, like the Coconut Grove, some places in the Gables, Doral, I always thought just because of their location that they've had more success. But I was even at Calle Ocho.
Marketing.
Yeah, Calle Ocho, not the other day, I was at Calle Ocho, and they have a one-way, 2-lane street, but there are tables for outdoor dining that are right up against the street,
Right.
and they don't have any of these barriers. So I don't know what the codes are there, but I think sometimes, and maybe you already do this, maybe your staff helps, if seeing what codes are in other downtowns or their master plans, say, man, maybe we can cherry pick some of the things there and present it to our people here,
Right.
and maybe it kind of loosen up, the
forward
restrictions.
thinking.
Yeah.
The forward thinking. Forward thinking process as we grow forward. Right?
Another thing I hear a lot is, if you come to downtown and you have to park in the parking garage, you got to pay, and people in Homestead don't necessarily want to pay. To park. Eventually it's coming because when we go to anywhere
else
we
you gotta
go,
pay
you've
for
got
the
that
downtown
park and
parking.
pay thing,
Right.
where it's your location.
Right.
And we don't have an issue when we
Right.
go outside of Homestead. Why is everybody,
Harping on
complaining
Homestead.
about
It's
here?
amazing, right? So you can move anywhere else in any city, and any city downtown, right? You go there, you're gonna have to pay for parking. But why is it that if you come down south to Homestead, you feel that you don't need to pay for parking in downtown? Florida City, Homestead, we all seem to be those areas. But we're now changing that, right? You're trying to revitalize the area, bring it up and make it look beautiful like everywhere else. Those things cost. So it's a small price to pay to make downtown what it is or what it could be. So I agree with yes, you have to pay for parking in your downtown. Try going downtown Miami.
Right. And I think also on the east side, where you were mentioning earlier that, they're getting a lot of new capital, a lot of investment over there. They're getting more of the name brand stuff on that side. I'd really like to see the downtown area have that unique, authentic, these great chefs that come with, their style and their creativity. It doesn't necessarily have to always be the chain.
So I see one day when they have the raceway is going to start sending all of their circulating that damn bus to come downtown. Circulate, with the speedway. It's there. They're part of the community. Send some of that traffic downtown Homestead. I mean, FIFA. And we'll talk about that in a minute, right? I want to drop a crumb for that for those who are watching. I mean, some stuff is happening downtown here at the park that we want to just kind of give some blessings and some flowers for.
Yeah. Okay.
I think so, right? So, FIFA.
It's here. It's here. I'll come back to that. I want to pull on one just quick point too, though. You had mentioned Calle Ocho. You had mentioned being in the Grove. One of the things, and this is where I think we're very strong within the city, is that if you think back to your time in Calle Ocho, it wasn't all perfect.
No.
Right? Every building is different. Every couple feet is different. Right. And that is very much in contrast to the newer development, and that is what draws you. That new development is the big brands. It is the nationals and the things that you can get anywhere versus being in our community. As far as FIFA, yes, it is here. And we've got some businesses that are participating in this, the city that's working on this. And I think this is really a kudos to the city manager's office and the special events group for trying to help and affecting some of that change, that activation within the city, as well as drawing folks into the downtown and getting that exposure.
100%.
I know I hear from some of the businesses that are here just how much they've appreciated
Of
it,
course.
right? And that's kind of the
Of course.
point. So
That's
we're
it.
building this. And the more folks come, whether it's for an event or they come for a dinner, they are having that exposure. They're building that familiarity. They're building the comfort. I've been in so many downtowns where I've heard in the early phases people, you mentioned, complaining about a parking lot. Right. It's a big issue until they do it, right? And then it's not that far. And then I got into a car that's cool because it's been in the shade.
Right.
It's not been out in the parking lot. And those things become much more comfortable, much more normalized, and that is the path we're going down.
Well said.
So the in the CRA, right across the street, Our Homes is redeveloping, and it's coming out very nice.
Yeah.
We've been seeing
Yes.
the progress there. Do you guys know exactly what's going to be there?
So what we do know, and this, we've shared in other forums as well, the second floor of the property will be their corporate headquarters.
Okay.
They are making that commitment within downtown. That will bring employees downtown. That will, of course, bring spending. We have spent, and the assistant director, Leslie, and I have spent a lot of time talking to property owners about that future vision, right? And what we really need. And one of the things we really need is to have those restaurants, the retail, the bars, the entertainment on ground floor. And so Our Homes has committed to us that the corner of the property that will be reserved for a restaurant, a bar, some type of entertainment venue.
That's a crumb guy.
That's a crumb. Yeah, we need.
Thank you, Our Homes.
That's it. Thank you.
We've got some, more restaurant space, high visible location.
That's right.
Maui and Chrome, lots of drive-by traffic, lots of foot traffic, right next to a parking garage with 1,200 spaces. You can't get better than that. But then I think that they have also considered some additional office, maybe a WeWork concept on the balance of the ground floor. So it will be office, but based on the last conversations and every conversation prior, some type of restaurant cafe component.
Awesome. Well, it's looking amazing.
Yeah.
I know that the city acquired Chrome Avenue, when they put the truck bypass in. When the city acquires Chrome, do they also acquire the rights to the lights that are within, the street lights that are within the city? That's question number one. And number two, I think Maui and Chrome needs a turn signal. Instead of, because you've got to wait for that light to turn yellow in order for you to just to get by.
That's it.
So you might have to wait 2 or 3 lights in order for you to make a left-hand turn. So I don't know if the CRA has any influence.
Is that a
with
DOT
that.
thing? Then it's not the city, and it's within all that weird space again.
So I'm admittedly getting a bit out of my wheelhouse. So anything I say could be incorrect.
That's it.
In
your opinion, that's right.
No, in my opinion, there of course is that agreement with whoever it is it the state or the county that owns Chrome Avenue and the city to be able to do the improvements that they're doing. I know that Maui is a county roadway. And I know through discussions with Public Works on some of the improvements that we would like to see have happen, there is a process that we don't have full control over. I do know, though, through these different conversations that our Public Works group is trying to work with the county on not just Maui, but a number of the county-owned roadways as to how they can be improved going forward.
Right.
One of those also will be Flagler Avenue, which is a part of the utility and streetscape replacement project. There's some other improvements that will happen there. So I imagine this is a part of that broader conversation. But I have zero influence or say on it, and anything I say may be slightly off the correct path.
But we all know we need a turn signal for those who have businesses downtown. We see it all the time where you're trying to turn it. First, they're blocking the box, in which we would rather see the police department stop them from blocking the box so that you can freely move when the light changes. We see a lot of issues that's happening there, or even for turning. So maybe they can revisit that in short order. So anything else you would like to leave for our audience before we shift? Any other crumb that you have? Any early breaking, late breaking news that you feel you want to share? Now is an opportunity. We have quite a big following out there that
You heard it first.
You heard it first.
Here.
So, and this is in your corner. We're not figuring out. We're asking you straight up.
No, well, being the good agency director, my board hears it first.
Right.
So, but I think we've got some really exciting things happening here, and I encourage anyone, if you know folks that are interested in opening business, looking at expanding, haven't been down here, if you hear folks that are saying, oh, downtown's not a good place, or they have a reason why not, then please come and talk to us. Our doors are open. We're, just a couple blocks away. We want to be that facilitator to the success that the city has defined as its vision.
Right. Well, from TalkVisual305 downtown, we are downtown. We're trying to consider, as we say, leave good crumbs for the next generation. Keep up the good fight. We see what you're doing. We see what your team is doing. We will continue to pay it forward for the next gen. So with that being said, sir, if there's anything else, how can one reach out to the CRA if they wish to communicate with you guys?
So, Julio, you gave the website directly, homesteadfl.gov. We have our own section on that site. You can also just Google Homestead CRA. We have all of our programs also uploaded, so you can even just Google the Homestead Commercial Enhancement Grant Program. Certainly feel free to call us.
Many different
Call
ways.
us, stop by, yes.
That's it. Welcome. Good.
He's got a great staff. So for the Homestead CRA staff, thank you guys for what you're doing.
Right.
They've got Leslie, they've got Willie, they've got Malika, and
Marie.
That's it.
Marie.
That's it.
That's
See
a
that?
great staff. They're very, very engaging, and your social media
Oh,
is
man,
doing
we love it. We
great.
love it.
We like the transparency
That's
because
it.
it keeps us in tune with what's going on. I see you going to some of these restaurants. I'm like, oh,
You know what I gotta go there too. But definitely, guys, for that to be able to happen, and we see it happen, it's unfolding. The generation that's seeing that loves social media, are watching. So don't think for 1 minute they're not out there watching and shaping what we think, say, and do.
So, Jared, ¿tú habla un poquito español?
Un poquito.
Es muy mal.
We'll leave it to Leslie. Leslie'll take care of that.
She got a girl. You got a girl. That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you,
once
Mr.
again,
Beck.
Jared, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. We truly appreciate you. And guys, we'll see you next week.